And the rest is browsing history by Wooten. Browsing Convenience Tool 7. Exploring Internet Explorer's booty. Now with 1,500% more puns. Huh? Download more RAM? Internet Explorer mutters, eyeing the strange, enticing website's promise of running faster with nothing to worry about at all. This is not a virus, we promise. Also, you are our millionth visitor, so this is free. Please click the download link and hit run.exe.rar.jpeg.wav.odt. Well, it doesn't seem to be too bad. You got yourself a deal, website, she exclaims, clicking the flashing download button. Excellent! The wizard will now begin assisting you in your installation. The text on the website reads, "The computer beginning the download process." A dark-colored pony appears in front of her, flashing a grin. "Thank you for downloading me, valued customer. I'll help you through the installations, and you'll have faster RAM before you can say, 'Give me your bitcoins,'" he exclaims, putting a hoof around her shoulder. "I can see that you're in need of some browsing enhancement, am I right?" She looks up to him with beaming golden eyes. "Of course, anything to make Anon's browsing experience better." She grins happily. "What do I need to do?" "All you need to do is agree to this legal form," he says, his horn glowing and a scroll materializing in the air in front of her, opening to show a lot of tiny text that she couldn't read. "Just press here and we can get started." "Oh man, this is so exciting!" She beams, tapping her hoof onto where the pony had shown her. "Alright, what's next?" "Well, first things first, I need to put on my robe and my wizard hat." He grins, a pink robe and hat appearing on him with magic. "Would you like the Express installation or the Expert's Advanced installation?" he asks, the scroll disappearing in a strange black puff of smoke. "I don't want to mess this up, so I should go with the Express installation, right?" she mutters, putting a hoof onto her chin. "Since you seem to know what you're doing, I'll go with that." "Excellent! I'll have your browser ready in just a few moments," the pony grins, clapping his hooves again. "Are you ready?" "Yep," Internet Explorer grins happily, sitting down on her butt, which, after a few moments, starts getting more cushioned. She immediately takes notice of this. "What's happening?" she exclaims in fright, craning her head around to look at her posterior. "Oh, that's just the complimentary browsing enhancement tools that are included with the Express installation," the pink-hatted pony laughs. "That's a $30 value, absolutely free." Her butt continues to grow in size. Why is my flank getting bigger? What are all of these things?" She feels a vibration come from inside her butt. She lets out a gasping moan in surprise before a message rockets to her brain. "Oh, that's just a Zynga toolbar asking if you want to play Words with Friends on your Facebook profile," the pony grins. "And there's plenty more convenience where that comes from," he says, as the blue-coated pony's posterior continues to grow in size. I don't know if these are very convenient," she muttered shyly, blushing at the now ghetto-sized booty. The pink-hatted pony licks his lips. "Oh, trust me, they are very convenient," he speaks in an almost hissing voice, causing a shiver to run up the poor browser pony's spine, causing her butt to jiggle just slightly. Only slightly. Only slightly. She looks up at the pony. "Please, go a little slower. I'm not used to going this fast." "Sorry, there are no cancellations on this download. After all, you agreed to the terms of service," he grinned, tilting her head up to face him. "Just a little longer." But I don't all of these toolbars seems a little excess." She begins to stand, but is cut off by hoof to her mouth. "Apapa," he hushes her abruptly. "Browsing enhancement tools." Finally, she can take no longer, and falls over to her side, her balance becoming unstable. "Yes," the pony lets out a menacing chuckle. "All mine now. Time to infect the rest of your systems," he hisses, trotting over to the computer. No! Internet Explorer yells in protest. You're not a friendly installer wizard at all. You're malware, aren't you?" She points an accusing hoof at him. "Only an idiot like you would have fallen for this master ruse," he chuckles to himself, a pronounced coming from his lips. "Now that I'm in your system, there's nothing you can do to... Think again!" A gritty voice comes from the door to the room. What? The dark-colored pony gasps in surprise, turning around to face the newcomer. Anon! Indian Explorer beams happily up at her master, trying to run towards him, but the number of toolbars in her lovely-handed buttocks kept her from moving from the spot. It's a computer virus! Anon lets out a sharp whistle, and a white-coated pony wearing an ushanka and carrying an empty bottle of vodka stumbles into the room. What's going on? It yells angrily. Why you call Kaspersky in here? Kill that thing, and you can go back to drinking, Anon grunts, pointing at the dark-coated pony. Kaspersky charges the pony, bashing it over the head with the empty vodka bottle. Take this, you filthy capitalist pig! She yells, accentuating every word with an even harder smack with the bottle. You am no real wizard! The pony can only go limp below her as she unleashes her relentless Russian-born fury upon him. Only after he is a crumpled heap of a dead computer virus does she slow down her blows. Cheeky brev-geben Domke. She turns to Anon, shoving a hoof into the air rudely before dragging Pony out of the room, slamming it. The muffled sounds of imminent kebab removal can be heard through the walls. What did you do while I was out? Anon glares down at the blue-coated pony, who's hiding behind her golden mane in fear. She didn't like it when Anon was angry with her. I'm sorry, Anon. I just wanted to be faster, so I could compare to the other browsers like Firefox or Torch or Chrome or, you know, any browser else, she muttered, small tears streaming down her face. But then he just kept putting them in, and I wouldn't stop. She turns and looks at her gigabutt. My poor floppy drive will never be the same. Anon sighs, placing a hand on her head. It's alright, IE. But we've got to get all those toolbars uninstalled. Her eyes widen. She looks up to him. How are we going to do that? A grin forms on his face, and he wraps his arms under her front legs, picking her up. That flank was Fat 32. And then he sets her down onto the computer chair, stomach against the back, as he inspected her floppy drive. What are we going to do in the star.bed, administrator? She gasps, a dial-up tone sounding her as her butt squeaks against the chair. Well, for a start, I need to familiarize myself with your framework, he says, wrapping both hands around her buttocks. It's been a while since I tried delving deep inside your source code. But I'm not open source, she exclaims, a deep blush forming across her cheeks. Expertly having hidden the unveiling of his thumb drive, Anon flashes her a grin. Well, we're just gonna have to fix that, now aren't we? He growled, inspecting her port. But, admin, I listen from there, she gasps, one final time in protest. Not right now, you don't. I'm cutting off your outgoing traffic, he exclaims, thrusting his thumb drive directly into her USB port. She yelps out, trying to keep herself balanced on the chair despite Anon's fierce file-purging process running its course on her. It's too fast, Anon. I'm not built for this kind of speed. No brakes, Anon growls out. You wanted to install more RAM? I'll install more RAM right here. Taking a hold of her firmware, his purging process intensifies in efficiency, going through all her hidden files and folders that the pony had left behind. With Internet Explorer on full load, she was getting rather hot inside. Please do it, admin. Make me run even faster. Fill me with RAM until my page file is at full capacity. He simply grunts in response, continuing to brute force his backdoor way into her framework, making sure her bandwidth is stretched to its limits. Admin, would you like me to update iTunes while you create a dump file in my processes? She gasps out, panting heavily. Shut up, IE, he growls, beginning to rout her with unmatched speed. She feels the shockwave flow through her body as he begins pinging back and forth, having a small spat. IE, I'm elevating your permissions, he said, spreading her floppy drive further. You may now access my D drive. She lets out a squeal of delight as the process finally completes, the toolbars completely purged from her system, and her floppy drive beginning to shrink. Thank you, admin. I promise to use it to the best of my ability, she says, turning around on the chair, a new port opening up for him. Could you also transfer some files into here too? She asks, placing her hooves against his RAM stick, leading it into her motherboard slot. Accepting her offer, he transfers protocols are forwarded and make a solid connection. She lets out a crying gasp, her tongue hanging out. "My motherboard is burning up!" she yells out, pulling him close, shoving his RAM stick even further into her. "I need your thermal paste, admin! Quickly, before I overheat!" Anon, being her ever-loving admin, gives her high priority and pays even more attention to her services, inserting his fresh thermal paste into her Packard Bell, some of it leaking onto her CPU. She pouts, looking up at him. "Anon, you only like me for our P2P sessions, don't you?" she whispers, a sad look in her eyes. "No way, that was totally cray," he chuckles, running a hand along her side. She's panting heavily, in relief, her floppy drive finally back to its original plain size. "Admin, would you like to safely remove your hardware?" she asks breathlessly. He nods, and a few moments and Windows error messages later, she replies with, "Hardware is now safe to remove," before passing out in the chair. Anon, after clearing out some stray pop-ups, removes his thumb drive from her. "There, that should fix the problem," he says, placing the thumb drive back into his pants. Shit was so cachy. Very cachy.